Good afternoon, folks. My name is Jan. I'm with the Gaian Fairy Congress, and every third Saturday of the month we do a workshop, um, and it spans over kind of witchery. How do we work with plant spirits? How do we work with the spirits of nature, shamanism, ancestors, Sasquatches, Celtic fairy tradition? We get into a lot of kind of in-depth topics. And this month, um, let me see, May 16th, we are having Kevin Filocamo join us. Moments of Encounter, Rediscovering Our Love for This World. Kevin is working on his PhD at the California Institute of Integral Studies, and he's exploring human relationships and communications with trees and trees with humans. So I'm really excited that because Kevin is bringing in a really kind of academic, but you're also, I mean, you've taken this PhD program. I mean, you're diving into this. Like we take workshops and we go out and talk to trees. You're doing this in an academic uh, setting, which is I really have to I admire that. You're getting a PhD in this. Wow.
It's amazing they're letting me do it, but yeah.
Well, it's yeah, California. I love it. Um, Kevin, what can you share about the workshop on the 16th?
Yeah, it's a good question. What I can share is that, I'm really interested in how we can make ourselves available to um, really receive what's any kind of communication or communion with the more than human world that um, I mean, I've had a few experiences that have really challenged my assumptions about how this world is and the way, what's real about this world. And coming from a Western materialist perspective that I grew up with, which says that humans are at the pinnacle of creation and we're the only ones that have sentience, we're the only ones that have awareness, we're the only ones that have consciousness. I really am with the people that are challenging that worldview because it's caused a lot of harm to humans and obviously to the more than human world. So, um, and I really want, rather than thinking about this as ideas, I just feel like it's really important that we um, connect with ourselves in a deeply embodied way as well. So we're not just using our minds, we're not just using our hearts, we're using all of us. And we're using our physicality, and physicality is interesting too, because physicality it's much more than just what's on the surface. I mean, there's a depth to our physicality that I don't think is often acknowledged in the West. Um, and that gives us, I think it gives us more of an opportunity to have deeper experiences and richer experiences, or even just be available for any experience with a more than human world. Um, so those some of the big ideas. There's just going to be an experiential portion of the workshop where I'll be inviting people to um, drop their awareness into their bodies, into their embodied experience, and then from that place to engage with either a house plant or a stone or something that you want to engage with. I'm not inviting animals because animals like to move, and that's going to be a little challenging. So, house plant or a stone, or that something that you want to spend more time with and sort of get to know a little bit deeper. Um, And that will be the primary activity in the workshop. We'll have a chance to talk before and after, but really it's about the experience, and it's about really connecting with ourselves on a deeper and more holistic level, and then being able to, with that deeper connection, to connect with the more than human world and just seeing what happens.
Yeah, that I have to. You're bringing your approach with the embodied part is um I'm trying to find words here. A lot of times we tune in. We might tune in. Do a shamanic journey, do it intuitive, but it's not really embodied. Um, and I think a lot of times when you have describe like what's a moment of encounter.
Yeah,
Give us
thank
an
you. Yeah.
example.
Yeah, well, I have a beautiful example, and that has changed my life. Um, and it was, and in a way, it was, I could share a few moments of encounter that were really big and dramatic, but this was uh, this could be anything, and so the experience that I had a couple years ago is I was walking, on my way to the dentist, and I was walking on this sidewalk, and there's a Safeway across the street, and it's a busy street. There are buses driving down. There's um, and there are buildings, and there are these little bushes along the sidewalk, but it was a city block. And I was walking along, trying to make my way to this appointment, and I heard a bird singing, and I was aware enough and present enough to stop, and was sort of drawn in by this song. And I'm looking around, looking for this bird, and the bird was on the ground, near a bush. It's like probably that big, like a red-winged blackbird, very small bird. And it was turned away from me, and this bird would just whole body would just puff up like a balloon. And then when they sang their notes, it would shake and shrink down, and then puff up and shrink down. And I was so captivated by this that and the moments of encounter piece is like allowing yourself to be captivated, allowing yourself to be drawn in, taking the time to allow that experience or that encounter to really impact you. And so I just stood there with this, just admiring this bird and just silently offering gratitude, because I didn't want to scare the bird away. So I was very still, and I was very attentive to this bird and offering gratitude and appreciation to this bird. It really, really touched my heart, really opened my heart. And then at a certain point, and this is, maybe a couple minutes, maybe not even that long, the bird hopped around in my direction, did its, song, sang a few notes, and then hopped back in the original direction. And I- you know, I can't prove that this. I don't know what was really going on for the bird, but the way that I imagine it and the way that I experienced it, it was like the bird felt my presence, felt my gratitude and my appreciation, and acknowledged it. And if I had just been walking and in my own stuff, in my own thoughts, or gosh, I've got to get to this dental appointment. I'm agenda driven, I might have heard the bird song. I might have seen the bird on the sidewalk. I might have been like, oh, that's nice, and kept going. I didn't, but I let myself stay with the experience long enough to have a moment of encounter with the bird. And ever since then, so my world has opened up, my center of awareness has opened up to include birdsong and to include birds in a way that it hadn't before. And so now I'm like, okay, whenever I hear bird song, I'm attuned to that. I'm like, where are you? Where are you? Just to offer appreciation, just to take it in. Um, so that's an example of moments of encounter. But there have been other even simpler examples, like walking down this. I live across the street from a city park, and um, walking along, caught in my thoughts, caught in my stuff, and then, but for some reason, I all of a sudden noticed the way the wind was blowing, and it wasn't a strong wind. I just noticed, it just all of a sudden, my awareness opened up to that, and it was like I allowed myself to be drawn into that, and it took me out of my headspace, brought me down back into the moment, back into I'm having this embodied. This is how the wind is touching my face, my body. Again, it's not a strong wind. It wasn't like violent wind. It was just a gentle. Somehow my body registered, oh, wind is blowing, and that dropped me into the moment. And that's a moment of encounter. So the invitation is that um, trying to be present with our whole embodied selves. And even if we can't be, even if we're caught in some thought process or emotion, if there's a moment where something from the more than human world, some being or some activity pierces that self-involvement, allow yourself to be drawn into that. It could be noticing the way bees are hovering or interacting with flowers. And I mean, that's another thing where I just get drawn in and I just, again, I'm not disturbing what's happening, but I'm allowing myself my attention, my time and energy for a moment to just be drawn in and seeing what happens to me in that encounter, or what I might learn, or how my world might open up a little bit more, from having an encounter like that. So it's taking the
Eh,
time. Yeah,
yeah. Wow,
yeah, go
Kevin,
ahead.
thank you. I'm getting um, chills of a different sort. I think this is, it's, I'm one of those people who kind of like I race around, get things done, and so I don't really make space. I mean, I do have those. I've had those experiences where everything stops, and I'm like, wow. But and I think a lot of people are we need to make room for those encounters because they're rich
Yeah,
and they fill our lives and they can also pivot us in a different direction, like spirit just spoke. There was a bird song, there was something else, there was a wind is telling us something. And I think so many people are just, now we're going through a little, people are traumatized, people are kind of like, ah. And what you're bringing is, this is, it's really beautiful. I'm excited about this. So May 16th, I will put all the info in the comment section. And Kevin, thank you so much. I will see you May 16th.
actually, I wanted to share one more thing.
Yeah,
If that's okay.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I think the other thing that I wanna talk about and spend some time with on Saturday is to let go of our preconceived notions or our agendas around how things are supposed to go or how we think they're supposed to go. Because I think that so even those of us who have spent a lot of time in the more than human world, and and have these practices and have these experiences that are really rich, and I know many of you in the Fairy Congress have, I mean, you have incredibly rich experiences. Um, but I think that the danger is that we start looking for that. We start having an agenda or a preconceived idea about, oh, how this encounter is supposed to look or how it's supposed to feel. And I think part of the practice, especially for um, if we're re-engaging with the world in a new way, um, is to let all that go and to practice letting it go and just letting each experience be a new experience. Because um, it's funny that somebody brought up to me that, and I haven't looked into this, but that like humans have like 50 or more senses, and we talk about 5 or 6 senses. And I think if we engage in the more than human, and I'm sure that people in Fairy Congress have more than 5 senses. They're aware of more than 5 senses. But uh, it's like we don't know. Like the world around us communicates in its own way, and every being communicates in their own way, and every event it communicates in its own way. And so, to continue to practice letting go of what we think should happen, or how we think these encounters happen, or what they should feel like, or how they should look, or how they should sound, etc. Um, that we need to, I think we need to be more humble and just really allow ourselves to just be in the moment and be present and see, feel, hear what emerges, and what, however simple or dramatic it may be, just allow that to be the encounter, the experience. Um, so that's another practice of just
Hmm.
continually letting go. It's like I just want to be here in this moment.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. I'm looking forward to this. This is good. This is good work that you're doing. This is needed. I'm just like, yeah, this is needed. Um, any
Well,
other
thank you for
comments
that.
before we?
No,
Hope I
just
wasn't jumping the gun here.
no, no, no. I just I haven't done a lot of things with Fairy Congress, but whenever I have, I just really appreciate the depth and the heart that people bring. Um, I'm still learning a lot about the she and fairy worlds and the spirit realm of nature. Um, but I've really valued my time, the time that I have been able to spend with Fairy Congress activities and people. So I'm looking forward to offering my little piece and seeing how it resonates for people. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Yeah.
This is good. This is good. Okay. See you May 16th. Bye, folks.
Bye.